We recently participated in a familiarization or FAM trip of Porto, Portugal, which is somewhere that's been on our bucket list. But since we rarely make just one stop on a trip, we also took the opportunity to employ our while we're in the neighborhood theory of travel. So we started in Morocco because, well, it's in the neighborhood.
We had been to Morocco before, but never to the cities of Fez and Marrakesh, which are two of the most popular cities to visit in the country. First, we traveled several hours by car from Casablanca to Fez, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and famous for its Old Town, or Medina, which dates back more than 1,000 years. From atop a hill overlooking the Old Town, it looks like a snarled mass of streets and buildings in a valley area surrounded by mountains.
From inside, it's a labyrinth of more than 9,000 streets and alleys, and is one of the most concentrated pedestrian urban areas in the world with very interesting medieval architecture. I'm always fascinated by the beautiful and often ancient doors. We've been to old towns with windy streets and shops before, but never anything like this. It would be virtually impossible to navigate without a guide. Luckily, we had one, or we might still be there.
Fez is home to the oldest university in the world and also has the oldest tannery, where animal skins are made into leather in a complicated process that also dates back 1,000 years. The Medina also has beautiful multi-story homes where families lived generations ago. Now they house carpet shops and restaurants. We had lunch in one.
The next day, we were off to Marrakesh, where we didn't exactly take the Marrakesh Express. Rather, it was slow-moving camels that we hopped on for a touristy expedition in a desert area outside the city. The Marrakesh Medina is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site and has a different feel from Fez. The walled old town seemed a bit more colorful and less entangled. It too is ancient and has a beautiful mosque and interesting architecture. As you walk through the Medina, you go from one souk or market of like items to another. For instance, there's the leather souk, the lighting souk, and the spice souk, and everywhere there are fascinating people.
Then it was off to the main event, a 5-day tour of Porto, Portugal and the Douro Valley. Porto is Portugal's second largest city and is built on hills rising up from the Douro River. It is picture postcard perfect, and no wonder it often makes the list of best cities in Europe to visit. Its old city is vibrant and also a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Porto is a very walkable city with shops and restaurants along cobblestone streets, beautiful architecture, and even quaint trolley cars. Something very unique about Portuguese cities is that they have the most beautiful sidewalks and squares decorated with black and white stones formed into very pretty mosaic patterns.
Porto and the Douro Valley in general are known for its port wine. And, in fact, unless it comes from this region, it cannot be called port. We spent a full day traveling through the absolutely stunning Douro Valley, stopping in small towns and taking a few tasting tours of port wineries. It was another case for us of wondering why it took us so long to visit here.
We toured other Portuguese cities in the region, such as Braga, which is a religious center with beautiful churches and gardens and features Bom Jesus de Monte, a basilica that sits on top of a 17-story staircase. Look closely at the center of the stairs and you can make out the pattern of a chalice. We also toured Fatima, which is a holy site visited by pilgrims from all over who come to worship, where the Virgin Mary is said to have visited 3 local children on several occasions.
We ended our fam trip with a traditional fado show with dinner. Fado is a cultural touchstone and has been designated a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. It's basically very impassioned, sad songs being sung to guitar and other string instrument backup.
With Porto behind us, we still had another stop ahead of us. It was off to the Azores, which is a group of islands owned by Portugal and located about 1,000 miles from the mainland in the Atlantic Ocean. It is often called the Hawaii of the Atlantic, and even though temperatures aren't year-round mild like Hawaii, the Azores are lush, green, and beautiful. We stayed on the main island of San Miguel and rented a car to explore the island for several days and loved our time there.
We stayed at a beautiful hotel right on the ocean and ate fresh seafood, hiked in gorgeous national parks, and even spent time alone with 2 peacocks that are allowed to roam free in a park. All in all, another great trip allowing us to see beautiful and fascinating parts of the world that we had not seen before. Portugal should definitely be on your bucket list. For Great Day TV, we're Ann and John.